Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is I haven't done a YouTube live in such a long time here, but I wanted to actually share an experience that I had recently, which was traveling to New Hampshire. I'm out here actually in the LA area, so I had to travel from coast to coast. That meant flying, and I'm a nervous wreck every now and then when I know that I have to go to a place that has a lot of people, and they may be wearing masks, they may not. Who knows? People are can be difficult sometimes, so I was a little worried about even traveling. But I did all my research a week before buying the tickets, and I'll show you the video, and then we'll discuss it a little afterwards. If you have comments, I do have a live chat going right now because this is live stream. If you're watching this, if you're watching the replay of this, I thank you for supporting, and you can always feel free to comment in the section below, and I'll reply. All right, well, without further ado, let's just get this kicked off, should we? Or shall we? Alright, so we're flying out to New Hampshire. We're flying out of LAX actually, and we just got here. It took no time whatsoever. It's pretty empty compared to how it would be on a normal day. But
on like a holiday weekend, there's nobody here.
Exactly. We have to wear masks in here at all times, also on board, unless you're drinking or eating, of course. But that's why we have our masks on. And we just passed through security, so we do have TSA pre-check, so that was a fast thing. Plus, again, there was nobody in line, so that was kind of cool to just kind of go through. But now we're like 2 hours early, so yeah, so we just have to wait a couple hours. We're gonna jump on a plane to Atlanta and then make a connection there to Boston, and then the plan is to take the rental car and then drive all the way up to the northern part of New Hampshire. But this is what the adventure is going to be, flying during COVID. All right. How was your drink, hon?
Oh, amazing. This is the only reason I would take off my mask, to have coffee.
All right, we're just boarding our flight right now to Atlanta. That's the only connection we have, and then from there it's on to Boston. So we're walking, onto the plane right now. Alright, so we just finished wiping down our seats. You gotta remember to pretty much wipe everything down. Delta does a great job at cleaning, but what do? We clean the armchair, arms remember to clean the belt buckles too and all that, the belt, seat belt. Yeah. What's that?
The air vents.
Why the air vents? Why clean the air vents?
Because that's where the circulated air is coming down from. And people touch the vents to turn it, whatever, so it's a high touch zone.
That's what happens. Alright, we're airborne. Just landed in Atlanta, and now we're actually trying to go to our next gate, so we just have to find that out. We'll probably have to ask somebody for help doing that.
Welcome to Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. We remind you to follow CDC recommendations and maintain proper social distancing. Please stay 6 feet away from your fellow travelers.
Well, this is kind of nice. It's a train that'll take us to our terminal. It's like 5:30 in the morning right now in Atlanta, so I didn't really get to sleep that much on the plane. I'm gonna try and maybe this next leg from Atlanta to Boston, try and get some sleep. We'll see if that happens. We just boarded our final plane to Boston.
Final destination.
Yeah, and what a better place to be for the 4th of July than in Boston.
Happy birthday, America.
Which one did you get, hon?
A hummus.
And I got the chips and salsa. First class food. We have big planes in Boston, but the journey isn't over yet. We still have to go get our rental car since all bus services have been suspended. Normally we take a bus into New Hampshire and then we get picked up there, but yeah. So yeah, on to our picking up our luggage and then our rental car. right, so I picked up my bag, but there was a slight confusion with Claire's bag. Somebody got her bag, and she has somebody else's bag. So we're gonna actually. So luckily, baggage service here called the other person who was actually on the way to a car rental place, which is where we're going to get our car rental. So we're gonna meet her outside the airport here and exchange the bags. So Claire's baggage was temporarily lost, but we're gonna get it back right now.
I'm so glad this woman answered her phone, and now I can have my clothes.
Awesome. All right, so now we're in our rental car. It's a Nissan Versa. It's all right. It's small, but it's getting the job done here. We got it from Enterprise, but one thing that I didn't expect was a 20% surcharge just for renting the car. So we bumped it up by like $80, $88 or so from what we originally were priced through Costco. But now we're actually on our way to New Hampshire. We just exited Boston Airport. We're still in Massachusetts right now. Actually, we're still in Boston, exiting Boston, and then in a little bit we'll be exiting the state, going into New Hampshire, and yeah, we have about a 3-hour drive ahead of us. But it's good. I'm hungry though.
Me too. Okay, bye.
Alrighty, so we're almost to our final destination, but now we're in the northern part of New Hampshire, and you know, the speed limits here really vary. And right now I'm actually going at about 50 miles an hour because I keep scanning the signs because this is moose country. So at any given moment, any moose could pop out. You never know. We already saw a deer that was lying on the roadway earlier in our trip, so that wasn't a pretty sight. But yeah, we ended up stopping for a little snack too, and now we're probably about let's say like 40 minutes away from our destination.
And what's the phrase about moose around here when you're driving?
Are you talking about like brake for the moose? Whoa.
Yes.
Is that it?
Brake for moose. It can save your life.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Okay, bye.
So I made my reservation for the car rental in through Costco Travel or Costco.com, and so when I picked up the car, they said, okay, well, here's your surcharge, but everything happened a little too fast, and I was not hadn't slept much, so I thought they had said they were going to actually charge me that total amount, but after checking my bank statement after I got home, they only charged me what they had originally quoted me. So just don't freak out if you see a surcharge on your credit card or some price that you weren't quoted, because I think after you return the car, then they make the adjustment. So that's great. And I chose to put gas before getting to the airport. But also the
I do have to say, so we flew first class, only because the tickets were so cheap. We didn't get the first class treatment, of course. It was still good, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like the first class that you might be accustomed to. And there were a couple times when we actually had to be the last people in the plane because of COVID safety practices. They loaded the back of the plane first and worked their way to the front. But there was plenty of hand sanitizer stations all over the airports, to their credit, and we also had our own hand sanitizers, and whenever possible went to the bathroom to wash our hands. The food itself, so when we did fly for first class, again, tickets were cheap enough that we could afford that, and they offered plenty of room. About 2 days prior to our flight, we had read that Delta, because we did fly Delta, had implemented or brought back their wine and beer options. They didn't have any sodas or juices, so the only wine, beer, and water. And I believe only the first class passengers and the Delta Comfort Plus passengers were offered beer or wine options. The snacks too, I think I needed a real meal, so I started getting a bit of an upset stomach, not enough to be a huge discomfort or anything, but this was after having a few snacks in one of those boxes, and so I just saved the snacks that we were given, and once we reached our final destination, then we had some goodies to munch on throughout the day. But I think I just needed real food, and I waited until my final destination to do that. So that's in a nutshell some of the stuff that you might not have seen in that video. There was also, like, on the way back, and I didn't show this on video, but on the way back we needed to get from LAX back to our home, so we ended up actually getting an Uber. And I again, I did tons of research before taking this trip. One thing to say though is the masks were required at all times, other than when you were eating or drinking. But even when you were sleeping on the plane, everybody had to have their mask on. So that was I've never felt safer flying than I have this time. So I would totally do it again. Now with Uber, I went and left in the Uber website, and I read to see if they were actually offering service, because I wasn't sure. But they were, luckily, and they also had some safety protocols in place. A couple of the things that I remember was we had to sit in the back, so nobody was allowed in the front with the driver. And whenever possible, and I did this when I got in the car, rolled the windows down, and that not only did you get nice air, but you didn't have to breathe in the circulated air when if the AC was on. So that was just a couple things to take into account. But definitely do your research if you're planning on going to a destination that might have a rise in COVID cases. And New Hampshire itself isn't isn't a hot spot or anything. And southern New Hampshire, or the southern part of the state, has a few COVID cases versus the northern country or the northern part of the state, which is moose country, and there's tons of space up there, and that's actually where we were going. So not a lot of COVID cases up there. It was almost non-existent while we were there, and we had tons of fun. And on the way back, of course, just take extra precautions. Didn't touch my face, wiped down my cell phone whenever I could, and yeah, I mean, everything was nearly perfect from beginning to end. We had a friend take us to the airport, so that was good. And because my wife and I have TSA pre-check, we actually got through the security gate really within a couple minutes. There was just nobody in line. The airport was nearly empty, and yeah, I just if that was the way it normally is, I would probably travel a lot more. But I know that because of COVID, airport safety has increased, but also airport traffic has decreased, and so you can get to your destination in no time, or at least to get past security into your gate and take your flight in no time. What I did try and do was try and find non-stop flights from LAX to Boston, and because service wasn't available via bus or anything else that we would normally do or take, that's why I had to get the rental car. And so I went with Enterprise because I had looked up several car rental agencies, and Enterprise just to me seemed the best at having cleanliness practices in place just for COVID-19. Delta, of course, I can never say enough good things about Delta. They were awesome, and I did witness the cleanup crew actually going in to the plane, and the Delta has a video that shows exactly how the cleaning process works. So that made me feel safer, and they did close off the middle seats in their plane. So even though the plane had been reached to full capacity was really 60% of whatever it normally would be because of those seats. And first class also was there's some empty seats in there, not because you couldn't book them, or I should say not because of COVID necessarily, but because people just didn't book them. So there was plenty of room, felt safe from beginning to end. And if you do travel, I'm hoping that this video give you a little peace of mind. But again, definitely do research on how you're planning on traveling. If you're flying, check the airline. If you're renting a car, do research on the rental company. If you have family and friends picking you up from beginning to end, and you're really the only thing you have is just the flight, then try and get a non-stop flight. I tried doing that, but I couldn't find one that was available. There were a couple early on when I looked, but they were all booked up. But we did have just one connecting flight, and that's good because normally we would have 2 connecting flights, but I just really wanted to minimize the locations that I spent at because of what's going on. In any case, hope you enjoyed the video. If you're watching this replay, thank you for doing that. If you're watching this live, really want to thank you for supporting. You can also follow me on my other social media accounts. I do have Instagram and Twitter, which you can see right there. O Flores News on my Instagram, and Twitter is O Flores. And of course, on the comments, the description to this post here on YouTube has my links for Facebook as well, so you can check me out there too. All right, well, thanks for tuning in and watching this. We'll see you next time. Hopefully I'll get a chance to do more of these lives, but if not, you can always watch all the other videos that I upload to my YouTube channel here.